Hey y'all. Sound country when I say that. Y'all. I'm not very country, but I do pick up accents. So you can see the camper is on the truck, and the yard is cleared, all except for the tent on the deck. But yeah, so the wedding stuff is over, and today is Monday, and I am getting ready to work on making the mounts for the ARB awning, and I'll show you the idea and then how it works. Hopefully it works, because I've had a bit of a challenge trying to find any kind of awnings that would work for it. Let me show you. So here's why it's been challenging to find mounts. The stuff that you see gooped up is from the old awning, and you can see there's obviously a little channel where the top comes over the side wall, and I don't have a whole lot of room between that and the top of the window right there, like that. I'm eyeballing it. I'm gonna say 2.5 inches or so. Looks maybe a little bit bigger from here, but yeah. And then so I need to have a mount that would offset it enough that the top can come down, and that the windows, because they tilt out, so that the windows can tilt out. So what I've come up with is aluminum Z-bar. So I'll show you what that is. This here is aluminum Z-bar. See, it looks like a Z. And this is 1/8 inch thick, so it's pretty sturdy. And the idea is that it will mount above, well, first of all, we'll put one on the side and the back like this, and that'll give us access to the bolts for the awning to here, and then this will through bolt into the camper. And the awning has 2 little rails that little square nuts go into, and this would provide, I mean, it's like, you know, over the course of this thing it'll flex, but over 4 inches it's not going to flex at all. So we'll do one in the front, one in the back, and then for the top of the awning it'll sit kind of like this, which is really hard to see. Think of the Z like that, up above the window, which I can't reach right now, but like that. And then the awning will attach to here, to the face, above the window in a couple spots. So I'm gonna go chop up a couple pieces of this, and when we get some mounts, I'll attach it to the awning, and I'll show you the idea. Then we'll lift the awning into place and drill the holes. Here's the ARB awning, and it's one with a full cover. So these kind of work as a spring, and these are the ones that you open. And once you open them, you just lift it up, and then it pulls out. And we didn't necessarily want the one with the full cover like this, but that was the only one that was like in stock. Everything else was like a couple weeks to a month out, and found this one in stock. Kind of tough getting that left-handed, trying to get it back. Oh, I'm gonna skip that one. Maybe I'll switch hands. That's a novel idea. But yeah, so this one was in stock. We actually got it from a seller on eBay, and everything else was like drop ship from ARB or something like that. And it was really hard to find anything that would be here relatively soon before we left. And I was really hoping to get it mounted. So on the back, these are channels for little square nuts. And they just kind of slide in there. There's a spot at this end. Let's see if we can see it. There you go. So you just slide the square nut in there, and then you can adjust it anywhere along this whole length on the channel. So top and bottom. So what I'm thinking about is we will mount top and bottom on this end, like over here somewhere, which this would be the back end right here. And then we'll do another at the front end here, and then figure out probably along the very top channel, or maybe the middle one. We'll have to see where it fits. But we have the Z-bar laying like this. So there'd be a couple holes for wherever those little square nuts go. And then this is going to sit like this back behind. And I did aluminum because this case is aluminum, even though it's anodized. I just didn't want like steel or something else, you know, dissimilar metals and causing oxidization. It's a tough word. But so minor problem. I don't know where the square nuts are right now. So that's what I gotta find. And here's the little mount that I don't want to say I made. I basically cut. I have more respect for people who can fabricate than saying that I'm doing that, but that's how it's going to sit. Somewhere like that. I haven't decided whether I want to mount it with the brackets, with the bolt to the wall in, or if I want to mount it with the bolt out behind here. I'm not sure yet. I think it will be more difficult to get to here if I do it on the inside, and easier to get to the bolts to take the awning off. So I may want to just do it like this, and I think it might look better. I think when you see it from the side here, to just see those instead of it should be like the disappearing mount. I don't know. We're still playing around. So I gotta put a couple holes in this now. 2 for the square channel, or the square nut channel down there. And then figure out where I'm gonna mount them. But I'm gonna cut another piece of this. I actually really like working with aluminum because I don't have the tools to work with steel. And it cuts really easily. And I was just using like a little piece of rough sandpaper to kind of knock off some of the burrs, get a little bit smoother than a file. But I'll probably end up coming back with a little bit of a file for them. And then it grinds really, really easily too. So I don't weld, unfortunately. I haven't learned how to do that yet. So this is pretty simple. So anyway, that's the mount so far. What I'm using to cut this and make these mounts. I'm using a jigsaw with a metal blade, a couple clamps just to hold things down. And there was a spot where I couldn't reach with the jigsaw blade because it was too small, so I used the metal blade on the Sawzall. And then a little hand grinder. So these are all kind of pretty basic tools. You don't have to have anything fancy to do this, especially because it's aluminum and it cuts really easily. And I've just been cutting it kind of like freestyle, and then come back, grind it straight, grind off the edges because they're a little sharp, and then I'm just using this by hand actually to take off any burrs and smooth it a little bit. Probably end up, you know, touching it up with a file when I can find one, but it's really not bad. You can see I'm running my fingers on it. I'm not cutting myself or anything. So it's really easy. I mean, I even took out the little hand hacksaw. I was thinking I could if I needed to. But the good old Sawzall did it just fine. So there we are. And then, you know, metal drill bits. Easy. And now we've drilled 2 holes in it. I used this DeWalt drill set. I don't know if there's another like a product number or whatever, but these things cut through it just like butter. Yeah, so that was pretty awesome. So, and I tested, you know, make sure that that's the right size. Yep, metric probably, but I used a 1/4 inch. And I've got the other 2 pieces here, or nuts, screws, whatever you want to call these things. And ta-da, there it is. So I'm just gonna do the other side and then one for the top. And if I don't end up using one for the top, I might just drill a third one here in this bracket. These are a little close to the edge, but I think that they'll be okay. I don't think there's gonna be that much weight on them. Okay, got the mounting tacked into place right now. Just using some sheetrock screws and washers, holding the very top. I don't know if you can see up the top, but I decided to put this channel this way across the top, and those are going to get replaced with lag bolts or lag screws, and then the ends will get through bolted. And so this, hopefully there won't be a whole lot of stress once the ends will be through bolted, but the wall moves when I do this. Well, actually, it's kind of the whole camper is moving. See? So it's not really, and these aren't bolted in, so it lifts a little bit. But there it is. Talk to the hand. All right, so now that I got it temporarily tacked in, I went to the hardware store and picked up these. I forget what they call them, but they basically tap into the metal. I'm sorry, the metal taps into the wood. And then I can bolt in from the outside. So this way I can put my paneling up, and as long as the bolt is not longer than what would protrude, and this will be back behind the paneling, and it'll be locked in there. So it's kind of like a captive nut type of thing. So you just go in there like that, and obviously I can't push it in, so I'm going to take a hammer, handy dandy hammer. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, tapped in. So now from the outside, I'm going to take one of these, one of those, and a washer. So really can't do any of this stuff left-handed. Okay. Ta-da! And then bolt it in. And it's gripping really well. All right, let's see if I can do this without falling off the ladder. It's hard enough as it is. There's my hole. And I don't know that I can record this because, as you can see, it doesn't quite line up. It needs to get lifted a little bit. And this is just the top. So once I get these, then I'm going to do the ends. And I think I'm going to do the same captive nut type of thing. Anyway, for the name of safety, I'm going to do this and then just show you afterwards. Ta-da! Okay, in all fairness, I had that one done before. And so I also had that one done before. But that is now in. Focus. There you go. And it's a good thing that, like, we did a safety check, because I stabbed myself with something. And you would have heard me screaming like a little girl. But yeah, so it's in. It's holding. Now, I don't have anything in these yet. And I'm going to determine the positioning. I may try to reuse one of those existing holes, like that one. I don't believe I can reuse the top one. But I have to probably add some cross bracing. And I just don't feel like doing it tonight. But anyway, there's my ARB, I guess I should say Carrie's ARB awning mounted. And so we just reach up here, unbuckle these little tingums. Too short for this. And that just flips up, and then the awning comes out. And there is a little gap. So if it's raining, we could get wet. It's just gonna drip back down here, but the awning itself will be fine. Undercover right here. All right, so this will give you an idea of how I'm mounting this Z channel, Z bar, whatever you want to call it. And I've got 2 extra holes drilled in here. I don't have enough of the square bolts. And I found some square nuts at the hardware store, but I couldn't find a bolt that was short enough. And the nut was just a little bit too big. So I'm going to have to figure out how to order these. Came with 6, but I would like to put 2 more in the center there. Ideally, what I would probably do with this if I had the option is I'd have 3 vertical brackets, but with the window there, I can't do that. So the nice thing is these slide, so they're basically infinitely adjustable. So I had this hanging up there earlier, and attached you can see the 3 larger holes, and these go into a T-prong nut, which I really wish that I would have thought about before for some of these others. But the thing is, like the high lift, you know, this has a lock spot right here, and if these were bolts or nuts, somebody could take them off. So for this one, I probably would have still through bolted them, and these other ones are lag screwed in, which is fine, and they'll probably seal better with caulk than these will with the T-prong nuts. But I'll just make sure that I get it nice and solid in there, and maybe run a bead across the top as well. So now I'm gonna make, I've got these marked where I want them up here, like that. So I'm gonna go drill 2 holes for each of them for hardware just like this for the other T-prong nuts. And then once I get them spaced up there, I'll see what I need to do to reinforce where they go through. I don't think that I will need to reinforce this because there's already a board on the bottom side. So hopefully the bolt that I have is long enough. I got one longer one for that one. And this one I'll have to build a little cross member on the inside just to bolt it, because the cross member at the top is just not quite thick enough, I don't think. Definitely not for the lower hole. So that's where we're at. I'm gonna measure that now just to see. I just saw one jet fly past, pretty low. I mean, we are at elevation. And the sound is echoing all around us. So I'm not sure if there's another coming past or not. I don't think so. That's too bad. It would have been kind of cool to get that on video. Just barely above the treetops. It's weird how the sound echoes. It sounds like there's another one coming. Maybe there is. Maybe there isn't. Nope. It's just the sound reverbing over the hills. Pretty cool. And now the awning is fully mounted. So please excuse the plugged holes. We're gonna sand all that down and fill them, but I just needed to at least temporarily fill up. But so here, this goes to a T-bar nut on the inside. That's the Z channel. That's the back of the awning bolt. So let's see if I can get a better angle up top. Like that. And then I have the Z bar along the back side. There's 2 bolts in the awning. I'd like to add 2 more about here and the same distance on the other side of that bolt. So I just need to find those square nut or square bolt, square head bolts. I guess that's what you call it. Then there's another Z bar vertically at the front here. And this thing is, it's on solid. I mean, it's not moving. The camper is, but the awning isn't. So now I'm gonna open it for the first time. And there's the awning. I don't have it guy wired, so I just kind of propped it. But obviously we will support it. I just wanted to see what shape it was in, since this is the first time I've opened it. But yeah, there we go. DIY ARB awning mounts.